Hey everybody, what's up? It's Chapman here, and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. And on this one, I'm going to show you guys how to build this fully automatic wheat farm. It's legitimately fully auto, okay? Like, we just get wheat and seeds from it, and we don't have to do a dang thing. I first came up with this design like 3 years ago on the survival series, and I had a couple of members ask me if this thing still worked and if this thing was legitimate. And they did a tutorial on it, but non-voice chat tutorials are just hard to get, they're hard to get the message across. But this is how you build it. And now, these are the items that you are going to need to build the entire farm. You need 4 droppers, and that is so that we can dispense seeds back to these farmers, so that way they can just keep constantly planting seeds. We'll explain that more later. You can see I have 3 composters here, and that is because we are going to need 3 villagers in order to max out the efficiency of this farm. Basically, for every 9x9 area, you needed 3 villagers. But the first step for this is that we need to make a crop area for these guys, so we need to dig ourselves out a 9x9 area. And once you have your 9x9 area done, what we're going to do is we're going to come to one of the corners here, and we're just going to run 2 hoppers going in, and then behind those hoppers, we're going to dig down 2 more blocks, and we're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4 droppers all going up into the sky like that. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hoppers and we're going to run around these droppers. So they are feeding around the droppers, not into them. And then we're going to take the rest of our hoppers and we're just going to run all of them going into that row. You just want all of the hoppers feeding into that corner right there. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take all that dirt that we just removed and we're going to cover all of these hoppers. And then in the center of this 9x9 dirt area that we just created, we're going to dig out a hole. We're going to place some water with a trapdoor on top and then a torch. And we're going to convert all of these blocks here into farmland. And then we are going to plant our weed seeds. And now with that done, you should have all of your weed seeds in place. We should have a 9x9 farm area with our droppers all coming up right here, 3 blocks in from the corner. And now, because farmland is a little bit lower than regular blocks, so you can see the gap right there, anything that falls on here is going to get collected by the hoppers that are below them. And it should all end up right here in this corner. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our decorative blocks, whatever ones that we are using, and we're going to surround this entire farm. And then we're going to take our composters, and on any 3 sides, it doesn't really matter which side, we're going to place down 3 composters. And then we are going to surround this crop area with our fences. And then beside these composters, we're going to build these fences up 1 extra block. And then we're going to take 3 trapdoors, and in front of each one of these composters, we're going to do that with our trapdoors. And we'll talk about this in a second. And with everything done, that is what you should have right there. So you should have 3 composters with the trapdoors in front of them, a 9x9 crop area with all of your seeds planted, your hoppers underneath, and then we are ready to go. Now all we need to do is just open this up. Remove these composters, and we are going to let our villagers sync up and walk into this farm. We are going to lock them in, and then you should have 3 villagers or 3 farmers all taking up the trades. They shouldn't be able to access the composters, which is perfect, but because of the trapdoors are there, they're always going to think that they need to. And now, while we wait for those crops to grow up, what we're going to do is on the same side that we have the dropper system right here, starting from 1 block to the left of the dispenser, we're going to dig out a 5x5 area. And we are going to make that 4 blocks deep. Okay, once you have your 5x5, 4 blocks deep, we're just going to dig out this wall right here in order to expose all of our droppers. And with all of that exposed, just like that, we need to run 2 hoppers going into the bottom of this dropper right here, with another one going forward into a temporary block because we're going to have an item sorter right here. And then we need another one coming straight down with 1 more going into that hopper, a double chest in front of this gap with a single hopper going into it. Now this can be a little tricky, but you can get it by tweaking like that. And that is your hopper setup right there. Now right here, we're going to put an item sorter in order to collect all the seeds. And then all of your wheat, extra seeds, and bread, if there is any, end up in this chest right here. So you may want to just kind of dig this out and like make a set of stairs coming down to here. Next, below this hopper that is pointing out, we need to come out 2 blocks like so, with another one at the end and one more in front. And this is so that we can just build a basic item sorter. So right here, we need to put down a comparator facing out with 2 pieces of redstone dust coming down, a repeater going in, and then a single redstone torch on that block in front right there. That is going to lock this hopper, and then in the hopper going into the comparator, we need to put 18 seeds with 4 blocks that are never going to go through the system. So if you're not confident that torches are ever going to go through the system, just put something that you think will never go through there. And these seeds right here, these are going to be the filter, so that when the seeds come through, they're going to filter down, go over into this dropper system right here, and then back up into the villagers. So we don't have to feed the villagers anything. We don't have to give them any seeds. We're collecting wheat. We are overloading them with seeds, and eventually we are collecting seeds from this too as well. Everything else that isn't a seed, so we could literally go up here and throw dirt into the farm. Anything else that isn't a seed is going to come through, bypass this system right here, and then everything but overloaded seeds end up in this chest right here. Now, to get the seeds back up into the villagers, we just need to build a platform here. We need 2 more blocks coming out from the center dropper with another one on the backside. And then from here, all we need to do is just go comparator, repeater, redstone, redstone, repeater, and then 3 more pieces of redstone dust. Now, what that's going to do is any seeds that come through the system, so you can see we can put an extra seed here. Any seeds that get caught up by the system are going to get filtered through this item sorter here and then dispensed back up for our villagers to collect. So there's our seeds right there. So we don't got to worry about throwing these guys any seeds whatsoever. We can just let them do their own thing, and then they'll come back here and collect it when they need them. Okay, now that's the system right there. The only thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to block this redstone. So you want to make sure that this redstone can come down. And you don't want to block that redstone right there either. But the rest of this, you can do whatever you want with, just, yeah. Don't block off that redstone. Okay, now what I'm going to do, just so that you guys can see how this farm works. That's how it works right there. As the villagers go around and start harvesting and collecting, the hoppers from below us are either going to pull down all of the items, and if they're too slow to pull down the items, it doesn't matter. Because we have 3 villagers in here, once the morning comes, these guys are going to try and trade anyways. And when they do, trading drops the crops on the ground, and we get it collected anyways. So no matter what, we don't have to do anything, and we collect the wheat and the seeds from this. Now the only thing left to do, really, is just to give this thing a roof, so that way these guys don't turn to witches from thunderstorms. And you want to make sure that these guys have protection so that nobody can get into these farms. And with that set up right there, now all we need to do is we just need to wait a couple hours in order for the wheat to start growing. Okay, and after just the first hour of this farm running, we've got 23 wheat, and we didn't have to feed these guys any seeds. We didn't have to do anything. All we did was put them in place, set up a little bit of redstone, and now these guys are putting in all of the work. Now, that is not representative of how fast this farm actually is. Now that we have wheat flowing in and the crops are all grown up and these guys are kind of on their like flow. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this thing run for probably 3, maybe 4 hours. And then we're going to collect absolutely everything from these guys. And remember, we're doing this in 2 ways. We either collect all of the crops or the seeds when they pick them off of the ground. And if the villagers are too fast, it doesn't matter because they can keep the seeds. And we collect the crops every morning when these guys go to trade. It's very simple. We're just exploiting the villagers' mechanics. Okay, and after just about 3 hours of waiting, you can see we've got ourselves 4 stacks basically and a couple of seeds. Now, I don't know how these seeds get through the system. I think that maybe sometimes this overflows and then the seeds do manage to go to this hopper, and then this hopper is just so fast that it pulls it down. I think that's what's happening here. But you can see, after just a few hours, this thing is performing and functioning just like a regular 9x9 crop farm. We are getting absolutely everything. We haven't traded anything. We haven't given these guys anything. We didn't have to go and search for 900 stacks of seeds in order to feed these guys. And I mean, that is essentially how the farm works right there. It is that simple. These guys farm in the morning. Whatever they don't pick up or don't collect gets obviously distributed back into the farm. But you can see we've already got more wheat coming down as we do this, and the seeds are going up. There's another piece of wheat. And I don't know if we're going to catch this. We might have to wait for the next day. But we also collect the wheat when these guys go to trade with each other every morning. And either way, in the end, we end up with wheat in our chests. And now, with auto crafting coming up, that means that we are going to get automatic bread, which is kind of, I don't know. Is that sweet? I don't know if that's sweet. I'm over here eating golden bamboo still, and yeah. But that's basically it right there. Now, obviously, you can do this out of any blocks that you want. You can do this out of walls. I had a couple of people ask me how this thing functions and if they could do a tutorial on it. And I figured, hey, you know what? I'm going to do my own, since this thing is pretty much 3 years old right now. And as you can see, from 1.14 to all the way to 1.120, this thing still works and still functions. And that is how you build an automatic wheat farm. A legitimate one that works, one that actually gives you wheat. Sometimes you do get bread out of this system. I'm not sure how. Don't ask me what that mechanic is, but that's the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I love you. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And if you're wondering, yes, this will work with 1 villager or 2 villagers, but it's just not as efficient. They leave crops unpicked at the end of the day, which is what you don't want. You want them to go through every single crop by the time nighttime comes. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.